The European Union is the second largest democracy in the world, representing around 450 million people. It is neither a country nor a federation. It's a supranational political and economic union of 27 independent countries. Its motto is Varietate in Concordia, which is Latin for United in Diversity. The flag is a circle of 12 golden stars on a blue background. The number of stars does not represent the amount of members in the Union. The anthem is Ode to Joy, composed by Beethoven in 1824, long before the Union was formed in November 1st, 1993, when Belgium, Denmark, France, the Netherlands, Luxembourg, the United Kingdom, Italy, Spain, Germany, Greece, Ireland, and Portugal signed the Treaty of Maastricht in the Netherlands. It was initially founded by Belgium, the Netherlands, France, West Germany, Italy, and Luxembourg in 1951 in Paris as the European Coal and Steel Community. It was a peace and economic treaty with the idea that if countries have a good economic relationship with each other, then wars would be less likely to happen, which Europe was still recovering from the 1940s. Members. There are currently 27 members in the European Union. Any member can leave whenever they want with a referendum, as we saw in 2020 when the United Kingdom left. The last addition was in 2013 when Croatia entered. The members from most populous to least populous are Germany, France, Italy, Spain, Poland, Romania, the Netherlands, Greece, Belgium, Portugal, the Czech Republic, Hungary, Sweden, Austria, Bulgaria, Denmark, Slovakia, Finland, Ireland, Croatia, Lithuania, Latvia, Slovenia, Estonia, Cyprus, Luxembourg, and Malta. Member states must contribute financially to the EU mainly through taxes and tariffs proportional to their economy, which is why some countries contribute more than others and some countries benefit more than others. Eurozone. The Eurozone is an economic area used to describe all countries that use the euro as their official currency and are part of the European Union. I say "and" because not all members of the Union use the euro and not all countries that use the euro are part of the Union. The 7 members of the European Union that do not use the euro are Bulgaria, the Czech Republic, Denmark, Hungary, Poland, Romania, and Sweden. These countries continue to use their own national currencies. On top of that, Andorra, Monaco, San Marino, and the Vatican City have an agreement with the Eurozone where they are allowed to use the euro as their official currency even though they are not in the European Union. And also Kosovo and Montenegro use the euro even though they are not in the EU, nor do they have any agreements with the Eurozone. European Free Trade Association. The EFTA for short represents 4 countries: Iceland, Liechtenstein, Switzerland, and Norway. It was established in 1960, way before the EU, to serve as an alternative trade bloc for these 4 European states that were unable or unwilling to join the European Economic Community, which is the main predecessor of the EU. The Schengen Area. The Schengen Area is the removal of physical borders between countries, so you can cross the border from any country to any country that is part of the Schengen Area without seeing any border officers or passport checks at all. In fact, there are a lot of Europeans that live in a country and work in another and have to cross the border every day to commute but don't even have a passport, because due to the Schengen Area, your ID or driver's license is enough as a document. It was first proposed in 1985 with the Schengen Agreement and then established in 1990 in the Schengen Convention. They were both signed in the city of Schengen in Luxembourg. There are 27 countries that participate in the Schengen area. Out of those 27, only 23 are in the European Union. The other 4 are the European Free Trade Association, Iceland, Liechtenstein, Switzerland, and Norway. And the 4 members of the European Union that are not in the Schengen area are Bulgaria, Cyprus, Ireland, and Romania. The European Economic Area. The EEA for short consists of 3 members that are part of the European Free Trade Association, Norway, Iceland, and Liechtenstein, plus all of the members of the European Union. The EEA's purpose is to expand the single market and the 4 freedoms of the European Union to these 3 other countries, which means that they have to pay membership fees to the EU even though they are not part of the EU, and they also have to follow EU law even though they don't get to vote in it. The 4 freedoms. The EU aims to uphold what is known as the 4 freedoms: the free movement of goods, capital, services, and people. The 4 freedoms means that goods, services, capital, and people can freely traverse from any country to any country that is part of the European Economic Area without any infringements, restrictions, regulations, tariffs, or fees. Which means that any person that has a citizenship in any country that is part of the EEA can permanently live, work, and study in any of the other countries. On top of that, all EEA member states should have a standard external tariff on goods, services, and capital in order to prioritize the internal internal markets of the European Union and have a stronger presence on the global stage. Institutions. The Union has three main decision-making institutions: the European Commission, the European Parliament, and the Council of the European Union, not to be confused with the European Council. The European Commission has the right of initiative, which means that they are the ones who propose new laws. It has 27 members, one from each country, who are appointed by the government of each country they come from. It also has a president, who is elected by the European Parliament. The president of the Commission is the closest thing the EU has for president, since that's who represents the EU on an international level. But technically, the Union does not have a single leader. The Council of the European Union's purpose is to approve or veto the laws proposed by the Commission together with the European Parliament. The European Parliament is the only EU institution that is elected by the people. The Parliament, together with the Council of the European Union, has the power to approve or deny law proposals from the European Commission. It also has the power to vote of no confidence, which means it can force the current European Commission to resign as a whole. There are currently 705 members of parliament, or MPs for short, and each country has a different amount of MPs proportional to its population. So Germany, being the most populous country in the EU, has 96 MPs, and Luxembourg, Malta, and Cyprus, being the least populous countries, only have 6 MPs each. Voting. Citizens of the European Union can vote for parties, not people, to represent the European Parliament. The 5 largest parties from largest to smallest are the European People's Party Group, the Progressive Alliance of Socialists and Democrats, Renew Europe, the Greens/European Free Alliance, and the Identity and Democracy. Elections happen every 5 years, and the next one is happening this year in 2024 from June 6th until June 9th. All EU citizens can vote from the age of 18 except for Greece, where it's 17, and Malta, Austria, and Germany it's 16. There is no uniform voting system, so countries can have their own systems and regulations with a few restrictions, which is why Italy elects MPs to represent each region of Italy, but France elects MPs to represent all of France. Budgeting. The budget of the EU is mostly dedicated to long-term investments, which is why the European Commission, the European Parliament, and the Council make plans for 5 to 10 years. Currently, we have an ongoing plan from 2021 to 2027. The way the budget is determined is the Commission submits a draft budget to the Council and Parliament for their consideration. The Council and Parliament can then make changes to the draft, and if the Commission, Council, and Parliament disagree, they have to work out a compromise. All 3 institutions have a say in how much that budget is and where it should go, but the budget is managed by the Commission only. Every year the Parliament reviews the way the Commission handled the spending in the year prior and then can approve or disapprove of it. How to join the European Union. Any European country that respects the principles of liberty, democracy, human rights, fundamental freedoms, and the rule of law may apply to join the EU. The first step is to meet the 3 Copenhagen criteria, which are stable institutions guaranteeing democracy, the rule of law, human rights and respect for and protection of minorities, a functioning market economy and the capacity to cope with competition and market forces in the EU, and the ability to take on and implement effectively the obligations of membership, including adherence to the aims of political, economic, and monetary union. Past that point, the country becomes a candidate. The second step is to start formal negotiations with the EU. There are many policy fields that are discussed, such as transport, energy, environment, economy, and many others. There are also financial arrangements to see how much the new member is likely to pay into and receive from the EU budget. While negotiating with the EU, the country must also meet the accession criteria, which is for the country to gradually adopt EU law and be ready to properly apply and enforce it, and also the implementation of judicial, administrative, and economic reforms. If the country meets all criteria and all EU members have unanimously agreed to allow the country to join the EU, then it becomes a member. Currently, there are 9 candidates: Albania, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Georgia, Moldova, Montenegro, North Macedonia, Serbia, Turkey, and Ukraine.